hi, everybody. Here we are. Good to see you. And our
Hello.
friend, hello, Oscar Toledo. We got to right off the bat say congratulations to our friend, nuestro amigo Oscar Toledo in Mexico, who is a new father.
Oh, enhorabuena.
Yes, felicidades de todos aquí. Yeah, he's a little girl. Sent us pictures. She's so cute. And yes,
Oh,
you will sleep again. So I look forward to catching up with you a little bit more. But congrats to you. Hello to
sometime in the
Brent.
2030s.
Oh my God. You will sleep. She'll nap eventually. Hello, Brent. Good to see you always. And Fernando, good to see you. Your first time here live. And Tony and Looney is always here. And of course, our great friend Chris Crawford. Have you
Ah,
seen his channel? Do you know about the depth of his Seattle Mariners knowledge? If not, check him out, My OY, and he contains multitudes.
Chris, you'll be thrilled
And
to know I just bought my first tickets to a Dodger game.
I'm so happy for you. Yes. So explain what the Dodgers did right.
Well, okay. So this year for Pride Night, they were going to do they're honoring various nonprofits in the community who have raised a lot of money, have created awareness, who do good work in the community. And one of those groups is the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who have raised like millions of dollars over the years for various nonprofits. And everything was fine and good until some out-of-staters, namely Marco Rubio and the Catholic League, decided to get involved and make a big stink about it. And, oh, it's how dare you mock our Catholicism. Wah, 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 wah. And so the Dodgers were like, okay, fine, sorry, yeah, no, they pulled back and they said they weren't going to do it, which of course then pissed off everybody else. And for once, a corporation actually went to the constituents and listened to them and went, you know what? We overreacted. We made a mistake. The sisters are invited. The sisters are coming. They're going to be part of this ceremony to honor nonprofits. And so because they fixed that and are doing the right thing by them, I'm going to my first Dodger Pride Night.
I'm so happy. Have you been to a Dodger game at all?
No.
Never.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
So
all the
it's
time I've lived here.
historic.
Yeah.
Chavez is a historic place. It's very like rad mid-century 60s design.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Gonna peanuts, hot dogs, the whole thing.
Do it. Have so much fun. Yeah, I was surprised too that they did the right thing. So Chris poses the age-old question: Dom Toretto versus Cousin Greg, who wins? Cousin Greg also lives his life a quarter mile at a time,
Who's cousin
metaphorically.
Greg?
Cousin Greg is a Succession character who has
Oh,
managed to insinuate himself into everything. Like whatever happens, Cousin Greg is always there, and
gotcha.
he seemed very innocent and kind of sweet at the beginning, and he is a straight up shark, and he
Okay.
is very very savvy and
I
has
was worried.
managed. Go
I
ahead.
was worried this was a far corner of the Toretto clan that I had forgotten about somehow.
No, I don't think Greg would be invited to Sunday dinner. He's not
Mm-mm,
trustworthy.
no.
So yes, as Brent points out, R.I.P. Tina Turner.
Yes, just happening as we're going live now. Yes, R.I.P. Tina Turner, a legendary life captured in the recent documentary Tina, which we reviewed.
Yeah.
Also, just we just got the news this morning about the passing of Bill Lee, Spike Lee's father, the jazz musician who scored Spike Lee's first four films. So, if you are a fan of I'm a big fan of the Do the Right Thing and School Days soundtracks. He also did Mo Better Blues and uh, uh, She's Gotta Have It. Anyway, so very talented musician. He also passed away this morning. So
It's very
R.I.P.
sad, not to be confused with Bill Lee, former Red Sox great, different guy.
That's correct. Yes.
So yes, Looney says cousin Greg's going to wind up on top. I've thought this for a long time now, and since there are so many Succession folks here, we're doing a thing on Sunday night with the brilliant Dr. Romney, who is an expert on narcissism and does Succession recaps through the prism of narcissism. So we will have some great long chat about how it goes down. I agree. Cousin Greg has been like laying the groundwork this whole time. Yes, good folks are all here. Sucked is here. Hi, Sasheen. Thank you for your very sweet compliment. We appreciate that. Who else? Jacob. I saw Dante as a combination of Alex DeLarge and Javier Bardem in Skyfall.
Kind of. You know who Alex DeLarge is, right?
I don't. Please
Oh,
tell
it's
me.
it's Malcolm McDowell's character in A Clockwork Orange.
Oh, I forgot his name. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's very much there's some Bond villain vibe going on here. And specifically, yes, the Javier Bardem type of like, I've been planning my revenge for a very long time and I'm here to watch you wriggle on the worm. What's the thing he keeps saying, that like never accept death when pain is
Suffering is in
suffering
order.
suffering is in order. Yes, exactly. So I do like the sort of well planned sadism of this character.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's just such a joy to watch him just go off like this because I don't think of him as somebody with that kind of like big, showy, flamboyant performance in him. I think of
Yeah.
him being like Aquaman and being stoic and hunky.
Yeah,
So it's fun.
and when he's stoic early on, I thought, "Oh, no, no, not we already have Dom. We can't have 2 of these in one movie." So I love the fact that 10 years later, he's just like, "Brr," out bursting out in all directions.
Yes. Okay, so we're having a spoiler talk here, so we should do
Yes.
spoilers, right?
Giselle is
So
alive!
Giselle is alive and John Cena's dead? I
I d
mean,
No
is
one's
any of this
dead. No one is dead ever. Look, Han wasn't dead, Letty wasn't dead, now Giselle wasn't dead, John Cena is not dead, the people in that airplane are not dead, no one's dead.
I was gonna say, are Ludacris and Tyrese dead?
No. Joaquin de Almeida is dead. That's the only one we can say for sure.
That is true because otherwise we would not have a
This
need for
movie.
revenge. So, okay, how is it possible that Giselle is alive? Because we saw her like get dropped in slow motion in 6, right? On the
Yes.
tarmac.
Maybe there was like a big trampoline by the side of the runway that she landed on. I don't know. I don't, but look, who knew that Han was going to wind up being not dead? Like they will figure out a way to like retroactively undo the thing. But of all the things in that movie that were like, okay, well, that's crazy. That's crazy. When Giselle comes out of that submarine, that was when I finally went, what?
I also want to know how she got a submarine.
Is it the same submarine from
7,
eight?
8, 8 had a submarine.
Eight had the
So
submarine.
that's Charlize Theron's submarine, is it not?
Right, and Charlize Theron knew where to meet it, so
So they're working together.
apparently.
So Charlize Theron like somehow figured out that Gal Gadot was alive and like recruited her to.
She can do all kinds of things, that lady, that Cypher. She managed to, exist in a cell with no toilet and, like, look and her makeup was always in place, so,
I'm just happy they finally gave Charlize Theron better hair in this movie because they
Yes.
did her wrong in 8 and 9. They gave her just hideous hair, 2 different really extremes of hideous hair. So she looks kind of cute with her like asymmetrical, like chin length, shaggy bob, whatever it
Bob,
is.
yeah.
Once I had a Serbio in Mexico real fast, we're happy to see you. And Stephen Lafferty in Cheltenham, Great Britain. I
Ooh,
just watched this week's Ted Lasso, which is very long.
I'm digging into that later on today.
I will not tell you anything, but it's an
Thank you.
hour and 10 minutes long. It's a good one. They go to Manchester.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Serbio thinks also that John Cena probably survives. I mean, even though what, like, doesn't his car explode?
You're being way too literal. Like, the, people just don't die in this franchise. I'm sorry, they won't allow it, and I would not put any money on anybody of the Fast family actually being dead and staying dead.
Oh my God. Brent, hello, Brent says Fast X is the first one of these that I've seen since watching the inaugural entry, likely on Encore in 2004. Were you
Oh
confused?
my, yeah,
Because, like, I always say, people will say, like, "Oh," jokingly, "Oh, do I have to watch all the other ones to get it?" And it's like, yes, you do,
kinda,
actually,
yeah.
because the mythology is very dense, and so you need to know why things matter when certain people show up.
I'm glad that Ames finally points out these people were jacking DVD players, and now suddenly they're international spies.
That kind of, like, winky, knowing, ha-ha stuff, I
Uh-huh.
often find annoying, but the way they did it was so smart and, like,
Yeah.
so dead on and making fun of its own absurdity that I'm like, "Okay, that was
Yeah,
good."
here it works, and I think some people were annoyed by that. I mean, I actually have seen, there's a tone in some reviews that are basically like, "How dare you not take this seriously?" Although and I've also seen reviews that called it too self-serious. I'm like, did we see the same movie? What are you talking about?"
Wait, wait, how? How is
I
it
don't know. I
self-serious?
just saw the headline. I was like, "That's a review I'm not reading." But I have no idea what they're talking about.
I mean, if any of them have been serious, it was 7, and that was out of sheer necessity to just,
Sure.
like, uh, deal with the fact that Paul Walker had died, and even still, the series within the text of it has not acknowledged that Brian no longer
Yeah,
exists.
and but now he's gone to like being the off-camera person we talk about, to now the off-camera person we don't talk about.
Maybe in the second part of the finale, they will address this. We talked about in our news segment yesterday that there really are only going to be 2. Like,
Yes.
Vin Diesel had said, "Oh, there's gonna be 3." but now I guess it really only is two. Devin has a question. Thoughts on the lack of Kurt Russell in the new Fast and Furious?
His absence is at least addressed, which is more than Brian gets.
Mhm.
And maybe he pops up in the second half of this to like fix everything.
Yeah, that's true. There's still plenty of room. Oh, we didn't talk about the mid-credit scene.
Yes, 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 yes. So they have figured out a way to have The Rock be in these movies and not have to be on camera with Vin Diesel,
Right.
apparently, because that's who we get in the mid credits. So presumably he will be back for the next movie, and the two of them will constantly be like antipodes on the planet, like as far away from each other as possible. Or
Totally
I mean,
separate sound stages.
yeah, I mean everyone's on a green screen anyway, so
Right.
like what the hell? Why not?
Wait, so what you're saying is that like Charlize Theron and Michelle Rodriguez did not really walk up to a submarine in Antarctica?
I hate to be the one to tell you this, but
I don't want to believe that.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny. Also, I've always wondered though, has the Dwayne Johnson Vin Diesel beef all just been theater, like wrestling,
Mm.
or is it
Mm.
real?
It's plausible either way. I will say that much. I will say that frankly, the fact that The Rock's movies have been so shitty lately kind of makes me think, oh, maybe Vin Diesel had a point all this time. I don't know. Like The Rock, oh yes, why I need to be able to make my important films like Jungle Cruise and Black Adam. So it's like,
I've seen the theory that because Black Adam tanked, that
uh-huh.
is why we
He
now have
came
Dwayne
back.
Johnson back into the hashtag family. But I would think that the production schedule would be so planned out for so long that maybe Black Adam hadn't even come out yet when Dwayne Johnson did his little cameo.
Right, but if that were true, I think there would have been time to be like, I can come in for one day, we'll
Yeah.
do this thing, we'll pop it in the credits so we don't have to worry about editing it into the rest of the movie, and then that opens the door for me to be in the next one. I don't know. It's a juicy theory, but I don't know if it's true.
Yeah, it is a pop in for sure. How is our audio also, by the way? Just out of curiosity, I like to know. So if you guys could just let us know if you can hear us and we sound okay,
Hmm.
that'd be great. Matt says, I thought F9 took itself really seriously. That was the first one I've ever watched. This
Huh.
one, though, I found fun mainly because of Momoa. I thought 9 was really silly. Like they go to space in a Pontiac in 9, right?
Yeah, I generally find them to be pretty goofy, and they know it, and that's fine with it. I'm sorry, I have allergies. It's been raining in Los Angeles, so everything is blooming, and
Yeah.
so my sinuses are just going bananas. I don't have COVID; it's just allergies.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But is your okay? Audio is good. Everyone says great, cool,
Oh,
thank you.
good. Whew.
No,
And
you. I think you sound fine. I do. But I saw a story the other day. I thought of you about how like the jacaranda trees are not
mm,
in bloom as much this year as they are
they
usually.
just started in front of my building, so yeah, it's been delayed. Usually by now they'd be in full car destroying mode. Anyway, but getting back to the thing, yeah, like I think one is trying to be more sort of gritty and street level, and then it gets a little sillier with like 2 and 4 and 3 certainly, but like 5 is where they really draw the line and
Mhm.
say like, all right, we're doing this now, and that's sort of where it becomes like a superhero movie with engines.
Max and Sparky, hello from northern British Columbia.
Oh,
I
hey.
love British Columbia. We go skiing in Whistler all the time. He has a question. He wants to know about your book.
Oh, sure. So Running Press is the publisher that put out the Hallmark book that I did with the Hallmark guys, and they also do all of the TCM books, like the recently published "But Have You Read the Book" by Kristen Lopez, which I highly recommend. Anyway, and so they approached me about doing a book about the sort of history of queer Hollywood. They published one a couple years ago by the great Donald Bogle called Hollywood Black. They put out one earlier this year, I believe, or late last year, called Viva Hollywood, about Latinx influence in the industry. And so this is like a history of gay movies and queer people working in Hollywood from like the dawn of cinema to now. And if that sounds exhaustive, it is. And I'm
Because
sure. I'm sure I missed your favorite, but I gave it my best shot.
The reason Max and Sparky is asking this is because of the thing you said yesterday in our Little Mermaid review about how in researching your book you learned that Beauty and the Beast was the highest grossing live
Mm,
action musical ever. So I think he was
yes,
curious to know about that.
because that was directed by Bill Condon,
Ah,
who is
yes.
who is a gay man.
He is indeed. Cool. Thank you for that question. Thank you for saying our audio is
Thank you.
good. We have a question from, I don't know how to say your screen name, EMEYCH. Are you guys still connected to TYT? No, we are not.
Nope.
We are here. We were What the Flick for many years, like 8.5 years. It might be how a lot of you guys know us. About 4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, August
Yeah.
2018, they made some changes and streamlined some things, and that included getting rid of What the Flick. And so we reincarnated ourselves as Breakfast All Day, and we have been here on YouTube since about December 2018. So
Yep.
I'm thrilled that you found us. If you were indeed a What the Flick person, and you're just finding us now.
We're still here.
Yes, Langley. Yes, holy crap, Tina Turner died. Yes, we will definitely talk about that in depth on our news segment on Friday. But yeah, we were just learning that as we were about to begin our little live chat here.
Yeah.
So very sad. Yes, Callow says it might be Fast 11 Hobbs and Shaw. Do we want more Hobbs and Shaw? I don't recall that being terrible. That was okay, right?
It was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, like it didn't reach the 5 and 6 or 10 or X heights, but it wasn't embarrassing.
Looney says, are the early ones worth slogging through to get to the insanity? Yeah, because like 5 is great. I think 7 is fun and quite moving.
I will still defend 3. I think Tokyo Drift is a lot of fun and has some really cool stuff in it.
It is. Yeah, Ilham says that John Cena's exit was touching.
Yes, but again, don't think he's dead.
Right. His exit. He will return for sure.
Yes.
Micah says, what are your thoughts about Justin Lin's Better Luck Tomorrow? That was so fun.
Yeah, that's a great movie, and I love that he's looped it into being canonical with this film because because Sung Kang is playing Han in it.
Yeah, that will be, yeah, that's fun. I like the idea of that too. Devin says a couple things. The trailer for Oppenheimer seems to have played before every major studio feature so far this year. Why do you think Warner Brothers has not done the same for Barbie? I've seen the Barbie trailer quite a bit.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think it's technically a teaser still. Like I think, or no, I guess no. The teaser was the Helen Mirren thing. Yeah, I feel like I've been seeing both of them a lot lately. So, but we drove by one of the Oppenheimer billboards in town, which they've installed the big like countdown clock
Hmm.
in, and Dave's like, "How much does that cost?" I'm like,
Right.
"What? Renting the billboard or putting the clock in?" He goes, "All of it."
All of it. It's right where La Cienega and Fairfax split off from each other, right?
Yes, that's the one.
Right. Is there more than one? I only know of that
Well,
one.
I've also at Century City they have like a lobby standee that also has the countdown clock in it.
Right.
So I
No
imagine
expense will be spared in
apparently
promoting a
not.
Christopher Nolan film.
Well, what was the
Uh,
whole deal where like Universal couldn't release a movie like 45 days before or 45 days after? Remember that? It was part of the deal that he'd
oh,
made with them, something insane like that. So
yeah.
this movie better work.
Mark Sias has a question. Can I ask? I've watched a few of the series, but I've wondered if there's ever queer representation within the hero clan. Just curious, particularly as there is discussion around the Momoa character.
Not really, no. I mean, unless you just count Michelle Rodriguez, but no, in this context, she is, thoroughly intended to be read as heterosexual. Um, yeah, not really. There hasn't been, and I think there might even be some sort of active gay panic early, but I think they got over that one at least, and sort of went with the kind of you know oiled muscle aesthetic for these movies. But yeah, this I think the Momoa character might specifically be the first one,
But even that, like,
and that is all
that's
depends on a reading
implied.
too. Yeah, like, he could just be doing all this to fuck with Dom because Dom is so dressed in black and grumbling all the time. We don't know what his deal is, but
Right.
it's big and it's pastel.
I think too, with yeah, the lavender nail polish is a nice touch. I think too they are trying to have their cake and eat it too with Michelle Rodriguez and Charlize Theron, for example, right?
Sure.
Like that fight is intense, but there's definitely like like a flirty kind of smoldery energy between them.
Yeah,
Like
the
a
fight that Michelle Rodriguez has with Ronda Rousey in Six, I think, it
mhm.
has a similar vibe to it.
Yeah, but like as you say, she's clearly straight in this. She is Dom's wife and
Yeah.
Lil B's mom. Um, oh,
No,
M.
not Lil B. Lil B's stepmom. The
That's
mom is the
right.
dead Brazilian cop.
Elena.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. Jason Momoa completely stole the show, says superhero movies are the best movies. Yes, I agree. That was really fun. Like in a big, noisy movie, he did manage to steal it just by acting.
Yes, it can be done.
Oh, MH. Thank you for explaining that you are pronounced MH.
Ah, well, there we go.
I appreciate that. Thank you. For all the stupid shit who comments quite a bit, hello. What are your thoughts on bringing back Paul Walker either in hologram form or in some AI abomination? I
Mm.
say it's in poor taste. He says, that said, him and Tupac saving the day is the best ending to the films. It's been
uh,
a long day. They'll play the song. It'll be very
oh
touching.
God, yeah, no, I think that would be a big mistake. But they, you have to wonder if at some point, like a movie or two later, they were like, maybe we shouldn't have kept Brian alive. Maybe this was more trouble than it was going to be worth. But yeah, I think at the moment that they've made their narrative bed and they're going to have to sleep with it one way or another.
Yeah, I don't need hologram Paul Walker. I know that
No,
they did the best they could to like superimpose what his face on
on
his
his
brother's
brother, I
body
believe
and
so. Yeah,
take pieces from previous films. Like they stitched it together the best they could in a tasteful way in Seven, and then had
yeah.
him drive off in his angel car
Mm,
in the
mm.
distance. Serbio asks, "What do you think about a girl spinoff of the franchise? That could be fun." I think
Sure.
about like what was it, Ocean's 8? Like that was really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I mean, and they like when we talked about this, I think they've certainly established a lot of interesting women characters in this along the way. I think uh the hacker whose name I can't remember, the woman who invented the God's Eye, who is Ludacris's girlfriend in these movies now,
Yes,
British
Natalie
actress.
Emanuel.
Natalie Emanuel, yes, I think she's terrific, and like Charlize and Michelle Rodriguez and like on down the line. But if they wanted to spin it off like Ocean's 8 where it's a whole new crew, sure, yeah, do it.
Rousey fight was in Seven, says Jane Lee. Thank you for that. As Langley points out, hello Langley. Elsa Pataki, yes, she is Chris Hemsworth's wife in real life.
Who's Elsa Pataki?
That is Elena,
Elena. Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
the dead Brazilian cop. Yes, that is a
Gotcha.
good looking couple right there.
Hmm.
Thank you, Gage. I feel like Christy secretly has an amazing singing voice. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will also take that it is a secret. Yes, Jonathan Majors in a fast movie. Oh, it's just problematic.
It's a hard. It's the. Let's check back on that one.
Speaking of, like, we got at some point we'll get into summer movies in general. We're gonna talk about The Flash and what everyone thinks about The Flash. Hi Teddy, good to see you. What are your favorite car movies outside of the Fast and Furious franchise?
Interesting. Uh,
We just had to do one of our table for one conversations we did with somebody about Herbie the Love Bug.
yes, the
But it was like
'97
the
version
97 made for TV version
with Bruce
of Herbie
Campbell.
the Love Bug. I like Two-Lane Blacktop.
Sure, yeah. Vanishing Point, I've never seen The Driver. I hear it's supposed to be good. Hmm.
We'll ponder that.
Yeah, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
That's a train movie. No, it's a
No, it's a
car. That is a car,
car.
isn't it? It's like an old car.
Yes, with
All
the
right.
wings on the thing.
Sorry, I forgot. All right.
A fuel burning oracle, Christy.
Sorry. Xavier says Paul Walker's absence was very noticeable in this movie. Because in nine, like at the very end of nine,
His car
his
pulls up.
car pulls up for Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
You know?
They have turned him into like the Vera of the franchise, like on Cheers. Norm always mentions his wife, but you never see her. It's weird.
That's really funny. That is a funky, fresh pop culture reference for all you kids out there. Cheers was a show in the 80s. Jacob says, do we really think The Rock will come back? Or will he just not share the same scenes with Vin? I think missing his presence has caused these last two films to suffer, although I enjoyed both. I mean, how do you have them coexist with each other if indeed they legitimately hate each other?
Well, again, I think look, if they were both voices in an animated movie, nobody would question it. Like the studio time was different. I think really with all this the green screen that goes on in these movies, you could easily blend them into opposite ends of a table. Like scenes where they don't necessarily have to like interact in a huge way, and then everybody can go home and be happy about it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I said, but I mean, it would appear based on his appearance in the credits that he will be in the next one.
Yeah, they're teasing that he's got stuff to do. It's not just like, hey, how's it going? He has like a purpose,
Mm.
something to do. Looney says, does Mad Max count? Yeah,
Oh, sure. Yes, all of
those are
them.
cars. Those are modified cars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Gone in, oh, sorry, All in the Game says Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, both versions.
Yes. Bullet is an excellent choice.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That definitely
Also,
counts as a car movie.
one of my favorite car chases of all time is in What's Up, Doc?
Yes, that's so funny. You know what? So Peter Hartlaub is a friend of mine. He is a writer at the San Francisco Chronicle, and he and I were
Mm,
talking about locations within the city where various movies have been shot, and those
sure.
stairs where they go down the stairs, like
Yes.
nothing has ever been shot there since.
Yes, they're still damaged.
They are
Peter
damaged.
Bogdanovich like broke some steps, and they were like, "All right, that's it. No more. Nobody else gets to shoot here."
Yes, Max and Sparky says Death Proof. On the Game says Drive.
Death
Oh,
Proof.
good
Yes,
one.
yes, yes.
Nico's Vault says American Graffiti. That's a really great choice.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes,
That's a
yes.
really good one. Thank you, Boonda. We appreciate you. Christy and Alonso, Fuck Mary Kill, Fast and Furious Edition, Vin Diesel, The Rock, or Jason Momoa. Oh, none of the
Hmm.
above.
Well,
Who would I marry?
I'll kill Vin Diesel. That's
I don't want to do anything to any of these people.
Are we talking about the characters or the actors? That is, I think, an important distinction here.
That is an important distinction. Please elaborate. But I think my answer is still the same. Yes, Matt points out Betty Davis and Joan Crawford hated each other and they made it work.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a real history of this kind of thing, especially, and they always say like the romantic couples in movies with the best chemistry often didn't like each other, and there's a whole episode of Friends about this. It's a '90s sitcom. I'm getting more contemporary, where the Joey Tribbiani rule, where he talks about how like if you see a couple on stage and they don't have chemistry, it's because they're having sex off stage. But if they are really snapping together on stage, it means they haven't yet. And so
Oh.
so like but Chandler keeps going back to see his girlfriend in some play to make sure that she's not sleeping with the leading man, and then at some point he sees them not having chemistry. He's like, oh no, they slept together.
Well, then Mr. and Mrs. Smith then would seem to be an exemption to that rule.
Sure, I suppose.
There you go. Lewis Cook points out Rush and Ford versus Ferrari are good car movies.
Rush is great. I've still never seen Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, they're both good. Okay, Wayne points out, you'll appreciate this. Little Brian kind of gave me cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch vibes. Can you tell me I'm wrong so I can enjoy the rest of these movies? He doesn't really have a whole lot to do. I mean, he's just sort of in peril. He's a pawn,
Yeah, I think
you
that I mean,
know?
the cousin Oliver rule usually applies to something like the Cosby Show, where the cute kids grow out of it, and then you have to wrangle in another cute kid somehow. Leonardo DiCaprio on Growing Pains, for instance. I
Mhm.
think because this wasn't ever a kid-centric franchise, we can't technically cousin Oliver him, but your point is well taken nonetheless.
Our friend Bunda has elaborated the characters are who he is referring to,
Ah,
not the actual people.
hmm.
Does this change your opinion?
Well, I guess I mean, we kind of have to kill Dante, right? Because he's completely a sociopath.
But he's like the most fun of all of them.
This is also true.
I want to
Yeah.
hang out with him.
Yeah. Maybe
Can
he's
I
the
marry him and we can go shopping?
maybe he's the F. Yeah, that's true for sure. Yeah.
Okay, he's the M. I would marry Dante. Um, I guess kill Dom.
I would kill Dom. Sorry, you had your run.
I guess, yeah. But because he's a
I'll
Fast and Furious character, he won't really die.
exactly. Bingo. There we go. There is no K in this franchise.
There is
I'll
no
marry
K.
Hobbs.
But that is a fun game. I like that. Okay. Yeah, so Leo says I heard that happened in The Notebook with Ryan Gosling
Mm.
and Rachel McAdams.
Yes, yes. They apparently legendarily loathed each other, and so Film history was made. There you go.
Interesting. Nico's Vault. Yes, R.I.P. Tina Turner for sure.
Mm.
We will continue to talk about her. Micah, Louis Leterrier, studio yes man or auteur?
Yes. It kind of it kind of depends on the project. Like I think when you watch something like The First Transporter, this is a guy who like is having fun with kind of genre conventions and with, the sort of unspoken homoeroticism of mainstream action cinema. But then you look at like his Hulk movie and it's like, okay, you are following marching orders and just, making the trains arrive on time.
You are following
So,
Edward Norton's orders.
yeah, exactly.
But then he did like the first Now You See Me, and he did Clash of the Titans, and I just have memories of these things being. Oh, he did the Brothers Grimsby.
Ooh,
I just think of these as like kind of empty
hacky.
CGI exercises.
I agree with you on those titles, but I will defend The First Transporter. I think it's pretty clever, and the fact that Jason Isaac's character is basically like it's never spoken, but man, is that guy queer.
So Matt Bullion says Dante is definitely the F. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
He seems fun. Yes, Chrissy's gonna go body bag shopping with Dante. Sure. For like bedazzled body bags. That sounds
He's gonna take you into Chico's. I think that's where he got all of his outfits.
no, like Versace. It's like high class, trashy clothes. Okay, so Teddy says, has anyone subscribed to Max yet? I hear there's a lot more 4K content on the new app. I just watched Max last night because we were catching up with Succession, and we watched episode 4 of season 4 last night, and we had to like re-sign into it.
I say, did you have to uninstall HBO Max and install Max because I hear they're two separate apps or some nonsense?
I don't think we had to uninstall it, but Chris had to like do the thing where it gives you the code and you go to your laptop.
Oh, brother. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I need to watch the Donna Summer documentary, so I'm going to log in and see how that all goes. But apparently the TCM tab is gone, and so is the DC Comics tab. So,
Oh,
mm.
it's also strange, our ever shifting.
And they did this whole. Did you see the fucked up thing with creators? Like,
Yes, that there are no writers or directors anymore.
yes, like in the middle of a writer strike, you're going to unload this thing? What the hell, Max?
This is why David Zaslav gets booed at the commencement speech
Yes,
for shit like that.
indeed he does.
Well, we'll
He
have to talk
deserves
about that
it.
more in depth on Friday in
We
news.
will.
We'll have to see how Max plays out over the next couple of days and see to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
John says, "Hi, Christy. Found you on Film Week. Saw you were in my town at the Frida. Hope you enjoyed our little theater. The Frida's rad. Yeah, thank you, John. We have been doing a thing off and on for the last year or so called Movie House Shoutouts, where we were highlighting a different independent theater every week, and we did the Frida one week. They do incredible work there. A year ago, Mother's Day, I made my husband and son go with me to their annual Mommy Dearest screening on Mother's Day. And so that was a cool idea. But yeah, the Frida is great. So thank you very much. Yeah, Wayne says new Max makes it wicked hard to get to the TCM hub.
Ugh. Just subscribe to Criterion Channel.
Yes. Seth says the Donna Summer doc is great.
Dave really liked it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, good to know. Langley says, yeah, I had to update it and re-sign in for Max. Anyway, it's a cluster, but they will figure it out. Should we ponder other summer movies? I actually made a
Sure.
list of what's coming out when, because every week it truly is something. And starting with this weekend, we have The Little Mermaid, which Alonso, you and I reviewed yesterday. I'd be curious to see if you guys are interested in The Little Mermaid. People have very strong feelings about the original Little Mermaid. I am learning that. And then every weekend from there, it's something, and quite frequently more than one thing. June 2nd is the new Spider-Verse. June 9th is the new Transformers. June 16th is huge. It's Elemental, The Flash, and Asteroid City. June 30th is the new Indiana Jones. July 7th is Joyride. July 12th is the new Mission Impossible. July 21st is also huge. Is Barbie versus Oppenheimer.
Right.
July 28th is Justin Simeon's Haunted Mansion.
Nice.
That's not the title. I'm just calling it that.
Yes, absolutely. In our heart, it is.
Guy
Justin
Ritchie's
Simmons.
The Covenant. This is it. Tyler Perry's Haunted Mansion. The Meg 2, The Trench, is on August 4th. The new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem is on August 4th. August 11th is Gran Turismo based on the video game. And then August 18th is Strays and Blue Beetle. Alonzo,
Okay.
what are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, Barbie for sure. Haunted Mansion, although I can't review it because I've
Right,
known
because Justin
Justin
Simeon's a friend.
for so long. But I'm very excited to see it. I'm kind of pumped for Amazon is doing a movie of the novel Red, White, and Royal Blue. Do you know this book at all?
I do not, but I saw that that is coming out. What is it?
Very popular romance novel about the first son of the United States, the son of the first female president, who is himself Mexican American, falling in love with the Prince of Wales.
Oh,
And about how like
wow.
they hate each other, but it turns out they really love each other, and it's like it's I really it's entertaining. I really I don't read a lot of romance fiction, but enough people told me no you'll like this one, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm psyched to see how the movie turns out.
When does that come out?
That's going to be in August
Okay.
on Prime. I don't know if it's doing any theatrical, if it's just going straight to Prime. Um, everybody keeps saying The Flash is going to be so great and such a game changer, but like, and I'm going to have to see it. I have to review it for Film Verdict, but
And we'll do here,
man,
of course.
of course, but like, Ezra Miller is just a lot to take in right now.
It's a really hard thing separating the artist from the art, and especially with this case. But like, I hear the movie is great. Like,
Yeah,
you're hearing that too. And so I will look at it based on what it is. I think we are professionals and
yeah,
we can do that, but it's hard to not just feel like gross.
yeah.
Really quickly, I want to answer a question from Boonda. Thank you so much for your kind contribution. We're going to do a quick sidebar on Succession. During episode 3 of Succession this year, did you guys get emotional when they killed off Logan? It just came out of nowhere. This is not a spoiler. We're like 6 episodes past it. Logan Roy is dead. Not when he
What?
died, but like Shiv's reaction, because Sarah Snook is so fucking amazing, but also like Shiv is she's so tough and so studiously blasé that her reaction is so shockingly authentic in that moment to learning that your father has died. And her voice goes up like a whole octave and it breaks and she goes, "Daddy," on the phone with him in a way we've never heard her ever at all. It's like the little girl in her, like the true self comes out. So I thought she made me cry. She was so good. Was I emotional? No, it was just an incredible piece of writing and acting, and deserves all the accolades. Brent says he's seeing Little Mermaid in 3D tonight.
Oh.
Ooh, Jacob Tremblay is gonna swim right at you and talk. I'm curious to
Those
see how it
crab
is in 3D.
eyes.
Yeah, come back and tell us how it is in 3D, because that was the main complaint we had about it, is that the effects look like crap.
You know what? I liked her Undersea Kingdom better than the one in Wakanda Forever.
Oh, right, there's that too. Yes, that
But
too.
you're right. You're right. James Cameron has definitely raised the bar a lot.
Yes, Leo thinks he wants to know if you're okay. I hope you're okay and better in case you're feeling sick. He has allergies.
Allergies, yes, but thank you.
Yes. Langley says, I can't bring myself to pay money to watch The Flash with its quote unquote star, and I'm the target audience for it. I am really curious to see if that bears out in terms of box office, or if the average moviegoer doesn't
It
know
hasn't been
and
paying
or doesn't
attention.
care.
Yeah.
Doesn't care. Yeah, Looney says Barbie is the only movie coming out this year.
Yeah.
It looks really fun. I'm so curious to see what they do with that.
And these are obviously the giant summer movies, but there's all kinds of great smaller indie stuff. This Friday, A24 is releasing two great new movies from women directors that premiered at Sundance. Nicole Holofcener's "You Hurt My Feelings" and Celine Song. Is that her name?
Celine Song's Past Lives. Is that
Yeah.
next week or is that this week?
Oh, I thought it was this week. Maybe
We're
I'm not
doing it on
sure.
Film Week next week, but maybe it's
Okay,
LA next
maybe it
week.
is next week. I'm not sure.
But it's, yeah, they're both excellent. I've seen them
Yes.
both and they're both excellent. So, and we'll review them both. We're doing You Hurt My
Yes.
Feelings this week. We're doing Past Lives next week. So we will definitely always catch up with
So,
the good indies. Yeah, On the Game says Indy 5's bad reviews are so sad to see. Yeah, last
yeah.
I looked, it was like 49%.
Again, I think that people are used to movies like this launching out of something like Comic Con and not something out of the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I think you get a different, you know, slice of the critical pie there. You know, it's so hard to get to Cannes and to get the accreditation and all that stuff. Like the people who are there to see, you know, international cinema. And I think maybe that was the audience that was going to be tougher on this one. And once we start seeing from like the, you know,
Yeah.
comicbooknerds.com, whatever, you know, sites that are reviewing it, they'll be more inclined to like cut it some slack.
I have a lot of faith in James Mangold.
Sure, yeah.
He's
I
a
mean,
really solid director, and he makes like old fashioned, substantive, like thrilling films. Like Logan is excellent. Like I
for
have a
sure,
lot of
yeah.
faith in him.
Yeah, no,
So
it doesn't sound like anything like you gave it to who, you know, like I think it he could make it work, but you know, we'll see for ourselves whenever they get around to showing it to us.
yes, Leo says so excited for Hallie in the Ariel movie. I wish the octopus was cast by a man like John Travolta in Hairspray.
Well, you know, I mean, Divine was the inspiration for the character design.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. That
That
would have
could have
been
been fun.
different.
Leo's excited about Spider Verse, Flash,
Mm,
Elementals, and Transformers and Barbie. I'm really psyched for Spider Verse. We will have that for you next week.
yeah.
They are screening it on Tuesday night. My kid is so bummed because we can't bring guests to this one. They're saying no guests allowed. And like the original Spider Verse is one of his favorite movies ever.
Oh
And
wow.
he's
I
psyched
bought a
about
ticket
this.
for Thursday afternoon because I can't make the Tuesday screening, but because it's summer, the Thursday screening started at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep,
So, you know.
kids are out of school. Tom S says, "Good evening from Finland. So happy to see
Ah,
you. We
hello.
had so many new Finnish friends come and join us for our Sisu review,
Oh,
which
excellent.
Alonso I did with your husband Dave, and that
Yes.
was. Did you know that Dave and I did
I
a review?
what? Behind my back?
Scandal. Yes. So lots of folks from Finland have been chiming in saying how thrilled they are that Sisu is doing so well. So definitely
Excellent.
a film to check out. Looney says, "I hope Brian Cox gets accolades for creating such an imposing, iconic character." Even though he's only in 3 episodes of the last season. Yeah, he is definitely singular. Langley says, "What kills me is if they just unequivocally said Miller was out instead of stringing people along, it would come off better."
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you. You mean Ezra Miller out, like, in
Like
terms of
if they had replaced him basically,
oh, I
you know.
see.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was already past the point of no return, and they didn't want to say that, and so they did. They were kind of cagey about it for a while, and everybody kind of kept thinking, well, can they, you know, what's Christopher Plummer doing? You know,
Yeah. Micah asks, "Can I
he's
ask
dead
what
right
shows you guys will be discussing on Patreon this summer?" Well,
now.
we are definitely doing whenever Only Murders in the Building starts.
Yes,
Is
for
that this
sure.
summer?
I think it might be. Echo, you know, whenever that is going to air, and the Secret Invasion, like the Disney Plus Marvel shows for sure. We're kicking.
Sure.
You're going to catch up on the Bear season 1, so we can do season 2 in June.
Yes. August 8th, season 3 of Only Murders begins.
Nice.
So
Okay,
we'll
so
do that.
definitely
Yeah.
that.
And The Bear begins like June 2nd or something like that, right?
It's coming up. Yeah.
So we'll do that for sure. But there's always good stuff. And then if any interesting limited series like 6 episode runs of things pop up along the way that look interesting to us, we'll always do those like we
If we
did.
can find them on Max.
That's true. We did Pam and Tommy. We did what else did we do? We did George and
The
Tammy.
yes, the one about Elizabeth Holmes, whatever that was called.
Oh, the Dropout.
The Dropout. Yes.
Yeah, that was excellent too. Yes, okay, so Tom has followed us for a year though. Great.
Ah,
I'm glad to hear that. Very nice. So Adam says Lucasfilm has always had a presence in Cannes. Odd, yes, but the prequels, I believe, all showed in Cannes, and so did Solo.
maybe, yeah. I mean, I know the previous, I know Kingdom of the Crystal Skull premiered at Cannes, but then it
Yes.
also immediately opened in the U.S. Like within a week or two. Whereas somebody was comparing this to like X-Men Apocalypse. Remember that, where they showed it to us really early,
Hmm.
like a month early, and the reviews were terrible, and so they just sort of like lingered in the atmosphere. By the time the movie opened, like everybody had been warned that it sucked. So.
Yes. Wayne points out there's a Howard documentary on Disney Plus, which is a great supplemental viewing for Little Mermaid. Is
I
it
need
about
to see
Howard
that.
Ashman?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard about that. I need to watch it.
Gosh, he was only 40 years old.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
still just wild to me that he died at age 40. That's just
That
heartbreaking.
was we lost a lot of that generation real early, unfortunately.
Yes.
But yeah, we were talking about this when when The Little Mermaid came out, like I remember being pumped to see. I was in my 20s by this point, but I was pumped to see it because there really hadn't been like a major new Disney animated release in a while, and two because it's the Little Shop of Horrors guys.
That is true. Yeah, all the songs became so iconic. All in the Game points out White House Plumbers on HBO, limited series with Woody
I've heard good
Harrelson and Justin
things.
Theroux. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can
There's
probably
so
move
much to
that.
catch up on right now. Like I'm watching the other two and Maisel and somebody somewhere, and there's a bunch out there.
Matt points out Heartstopper season 2.
Yes,
We
but
will
that's
definitely do that. I
that's
don't know when
August,
that's.
right?
Is it August also?
I
Okay.
forget, but we talked about it on the news that they had announced a drop date. So yes, yes, yes,
Great.
yes.
Yes, we will definitely talk about that. Teddy says, I finally watched The Third Man on Criterion the other night.
Ah,
Is looking forward to our off the menu conversation. That'll be on Friday. Yeah, for those of you who do not know or perhaps are not our Patreon subscribers, we do a thing every month called Off the Menu where we do a poll. Alonso lovingly curates a poll and it's a different theme every month. So maybe if it's like, it was like for Mother's Day for May, one year we did like Bad Moms,
yeah.
things like that. Or it's a queer film for Pride Month, or if a director or filmmaker or somebody dies, we might do a look back at that. But for this May, we picked 5 movies that have been previous Palme d'Or winners at Cannes, and our subscribers picked The Third Man for us to talk about. So we will do that. So it's a fun thing to.
Yeah, I think we did Irish movies in March, right,
We
for
did.
St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, there's always it's a fun theme. And then yeah, if you are a Patreon member at certain levels, you get to vote, and you decide. We do it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like you guys always surprise me. Like
True. Yeah, I think I know, and then I'm not always right.
I think they're gonna go for like the obvious wild choice, and then it's something like what was it, on Bad Moms. I thought you guys were gonna pick Mommy Dearest, and you picked like Ordinary People, like a very respectable, like sad rich white people movie, and it won the Oscar. Anyway, um, Brent points out, I can't wait to see The Idol. It's gonna be terrible, he says.
Oh
What
yeah,
are you seeing about that at Cannes? I'm seeing kind of like mixed stuff about that coming out of Cannes.
yeah. I mean, I'm just sort of hearing an accentuation of what I'd already been hearing, which is hot mess. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's from the guy who made that terrible movie with the Malcolm and Marie, right?
Mm.
So I haven't really watched Euphoria because it was giving me anxiety, but yeah, Malcolm and Marie did not make me think, oh, I want to see more from this guy. So
But that was a hell of an acting exercise for both of
sure, yeah,
them.
I don't blame the cast at all, but on Max Film it has like become a running joke about like how we don't believe that anybody ever makes macaroni and cheese this way, and certainly not this character.
Tom says, are you ever going to react to complete TV series? What do you mean by that? Could we do like we'll do recaps as they come out,
Yeah,
or something like the Great or like Queen Charlotte? Well, they'll dump the whole series at once. We take them like a couple
two at a
episodes at a
time.
time and sort of spread them out. So we do eventually do entire TV series, but we don't watch like. Although with Stranger Things, what did we do? Did we space them out?
I think we spaced it out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think the only time I can remember that we didn't was like when basically when the Americans ended and we had been doing it on What the Flick. And then when the
Mm.
last season happened, like Ben came on and we talked about like the end of it, basically. But yeah, generally speaking, if we do a show, it's because we're keeping up with it along the way. And then yeah, if we know it's the final episode, we might have some final thoughts. But we've never just sort of like watched an entire thing and then like had one sit down to discuss all 8 seasons or whatever.
Yes. Right hand man 65 says, just found you guys again after 4 years. Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome. Good to see you. And yes, The Idol had 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, up to 17% now,
Okay.
says Brent. And somebody up higher had a question. I apologize. I can't recall who it was asking where Ben is.
Probably Atlanta.
Ben did a big sit down with, speaking of Succession, with Jeremy Strong
Oh,
for
nice.
CBS Sunday Morning. So
Okay.
he does a lot of those big, meaty sit downs, walk and talk pieces for CBS Sunday Morning. So
Yeah, I remember I hooked him up with Ella Taylor for something about maybe when the Queen Elizabeth died, I think he was like he wanted to talk to people who had been in England for the coronation or something, and that was the first person I thought of. But yeah, he between CBS Sunday Morning and Turner Classic Movies, he's a busy fella.
He travels a lot. Yes. Yes, Leo, Tina passed away at the beginning of the stream. Yes, very sad. We will definitely talk about her. And you have to
On
check
Friday
out the
News.
Tina documentary
Yes,
on, is it HBO?
it's on Max.
Whatever the hell it's called now.
Yes, yes, it is there,
Yes, Roma
and it
Steve
should
says,
be
how is
there.
Ben and Matt? Uh, we
Good as
think
far as we
Matt's
know.
okay. We assume Matt is
We
fine.
haven't heard otherwise.
We don't, that's a good way to phrase it. We don't know otherwise. That is true. He has a new full-time job and he has
Yes,
since January. And so we hope he's doing well. Right hand man,
always.
thanks. Hello, good to see you. Teddy says season 3 of Star Trek Picard was pretty great. I think
I've
it's the
heard
kind of
that
thing
from
I just don't
people.
know anything about any of that.
I've for me, Star Trek always felt like it's like why I never got into Doctor Who because it had such a history and there was so much catching up to do. I just thought I can't hop in. And now, of course, you're like, oh no, you can hop in on Strange New Worlds and you don't have to know the other stuff. And I'm like, I, but I don't want to. I'm not a big science fiction person, so I know that Star Trek is important and that people love it, and more power to them. And I heard yes that season 3 of Picard was pretty great, but I can't.
Curtis Dumonceau, did I pronounce your last name right? You said I could just say Curtis D, but no, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try and get it right.
Ooh.
Is it just me, or does Jason Statham make every movie better? It's fun to see him. He makes every movie the same in that he is the same in every movie,
he
except for the Spy. Was it Spy or the
spy
Spy? It was just
spy
Spy.
he's kind of Cary Grant in terms of you know exactly what you're going to get and you want to see it. But yeah, he is a reassuring presence.
Yeah, I enjoy him. Sure, that was fun. Oh, Tom S. Oh, reacting to complete TV series as a whole. By the way, The Americans are one of my all-time favorite American series. That's
Yeah,
another one that I'm sure I would have loved.
absolutely. But you know, I get it if you don't feel like wading back into 5, 6, however many seasons it was.
Yes. Matt says if any of you get a chance to see the Tina Turner stage musical, if it comes around, I'd check it out. It's a
Oh,
very stirring tribute.
cool. Yeah, I remember when that was on Broadway.
Good to know. So as far as summer movies that I am excited about, I'm
Yes.
really excited about um, both Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Mm,
I did not love Tenet, but a Christopher Nolan movie is an event,
sure.
and it's just something that you've whatever he makes, I will go and see because so very, very few people make those kinds of movies at that level of just like scope and ambition and craftsmanship. And I know it's going to be singular. And so I'm excited for Oppenheimer.
Sure.
And the early word on it was so great that that is encouraging. And then Barbie just looks like a blast,
Yeah.
just so fun. I'm excited about Spider Verse. I'm curious about Asteroid City. I keep getting burned by Wes Anderson, but I keep coming back. And then Alonzo, today we got an email which you pointed out to me about. There's going to be an Asteroid City pop-up experience in
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
So I guess it's a walkthrough, sort of everything symmetrical kind of.
It better be.
Yeah, I will. I might check it out. I don't know. It's funny. I got to go to the Karlovy Vary Film Festival a few years ago in the Czech Republic, and it is like one Grand Budapest hotel after another. Like it's all these old hotels, and they have that front.
I'm going to bring a ruler and just measure and make sure everything is perfectly symmetrical.
That you're in the
The
middle of the shot.
The Virgo in me demands it. Yeah. I mean, Mission Impossible, again, I can't recall one of
Oh,
our,
sure. Yes.
that'll be fun. One of our viewers pointed out very astutely, like the summer movie season doesn't really mean anything anymore when some of the big blockbusters start coming out in March.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think once Marvel figured out they could make money on a movie that they put out in February, everything was open season. It's sort of like it's when the fall TV season stopped meaning anything because new shows could just launch whenever.
Yeah, but going back to Jaws, like it meant something. It was like the start of something.
Oh yeah.
Memorial Day weekend used to be the start of summer movie season, and then it was like early May.
Mhm.
And now, Marvel movies creep into March and it just feels like year round. And
Well, I think what we used to think of as summer movies have just become movies.
Mhm. Yeah.
It used to be that summer movies existed as, in contrast to all of the more heavy, adult dramas that you would get like in the fall and winter. But since almost nobody makes adult dramas anymore, it's like, well, this summer is just going to pop up wherever it wants to.
And also because so much is streamable, you can just watch something on your couch and it doesn't have the same kind of ceremonial, ritualistic appeal
Mm,
of school's out.
right.
We can go to the movies in the summertime in the middle of the day and go see a matinee. And
Yeah.
like, it just, if you can watch it whenever on Disney Plus,
I mean,
you know,
I know for me personally, and I don't know if you have the same experience, but like the Christmas movie season used to be such a huge deal because like so many like the big movies would be opening. And even if like I grew up in Atlanta, so like we weren't getting stuff as quickly as New York and LA did, but like Christmas Day there would always be a couple of really major
mhm.
films opening. But by nowadays we've already voted for LA Film Critics, so we've pretty much seen everything of note. So by the time Christmas rolls around, I'm just staying home and napping for a week because I'm already burned out on all these movies now that are just now hitting theaters.
You are. It is your bread and butter. It is
Mm.
your raison d'être.
Well, I
Um,
mean the Christmas season, not movies about Christmas.
okay. And also for you, all year round, it is Christmas movie season, right?
That is true.
Also a
It's
thing that doesn't,
24/7 in my head.
doesn't need the calendar anymore. Right Hand Man asked, "What are your thoughts on Vin Diesel wanting a trilogy to end the franchise? Should he only make one more instead?" I think he was just sort of messing around, and that
Yeah,
kind of took
he has
off.
since said he just kidding, so
It's
I
only
think
going
we're
to be
just getting
two.
two.
Yes. Brent likes Tenet. Right Hand Man does not like Tenet. Uh,
You know,
Tom.
you were talking the other day about movies, I think on our last live chat where somebody's asking about movies we wanted to see in the theater. Or I know it was our lunch date actually. And
Hmm.
even though I didn't care for Tenet, I would sort of like to see it in the theater because I think it demands it. You did schlep down to San Diego for that one, but
I went to Oceanside. I
Oceanside.
crossed into San Diego County and like the first theater I could get to, and it was like Labor Day weekend. It was so stupid of me. So much traffic. Thank you, Tom S., for your kind comment. He says, "I absolutely have loved your commentary for years. Please don't
Oh,
disappear." We won't.
no, not
We're
going
staying
anywhere.
here. Thank you very, very much. Matt says, on the Barbie/Oppenheimer madness weekend, I think Barbie will definitely take priority over Oppenheimer. I feel like I'll just see Oppenheimer once and Barbie a bunch of times.
Th-
Yeah.
that would be designed that way, probably. Yeah, and also I think Oppenheimer is going to have a lock on IMAX screens for at
Mm.
least the first two weekends. Again, like I think that whole part of his deal with Universal, being the like no movies before or after or stuff. I think that's going to be part of his. They're going to really not let anybody come snatch those away right away. So, whereas like Barbie, if you're dying to see it, you're going to want to run out and see it opening weekend, see it with the crowd, and then Oppenheimer will be there and that won't be disappearing anytime quickly.
But also, I think just from a sheer numbers perspective, they can probably show Barbie more times in a day.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Though they could start at 8 a.m. and go till midnight.
Yeah. As Looney points out, Barbie has wider appeal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. And all in the game says Tenet needed subtitles on. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a problem. See, when you saw it, Alonzo,
I say I watch it
could
with
you
the
do?
titles on, but I watch everything with the titles on. So
So do I. Yeah, I saw it in a theater, and quite often I was very confused. And I'm like,
I under-
is the sound mix just off, or is this an intentional artistic choice? I don't know.
only Nolan knows for sure.
Truly. Keith says, "Sorry, I'm late. Wanted to say I love y'all. Thank you so much for making time, Keith. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it." And Sasheen says, "I really think Katie Walsh is such a great addition to the
Mm,
channel. She's so cool and hot. She's awesome. She's really smart and she's got a great voice."
love her.
I always enjoy seeing Katie. Yes, for sure. Um, Teddy, are the men in the Barbie movie smooth down there? We'll find out.
That's
We'll find out. Ryan Gosling takes these roles seriously, so
right.
he might have made some choices. And Sasheen says, "I'm sorry, but Christopher Nolan movies sound design is bad, and even the action is bad." I'm not sure the action is bad, but I am confused about like, he keeps putting like Tom Hardy in masks. Yes, 3 hour Dolby 3D Barbie. That sounds great.
Ooh.
I agree. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a cross section of sequels and reboots and remakes and stuff we already know. So many of these things are franchise things, but then in the midst of it, there's hope for some cool stuff too. Oh, also, yeah, Strays. I
Yeah.
am partial to Strays because it's got a talking Boston Terrier.
Oh, well, there you go.
So it looks just ridiculous.
Voiced by Ben Affleck.
No, right. It's wicked awesome. I want to say maybe it's, hold on. I want to double check who it is. Part of me thinks is it Jamie Foxx? No, hold on. Who does the voice of the Boston Terrier in Stray? It is Jamie Foxx.
Ah, okay.
Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, Sofia Vergara, Isla Fisher, Will Forte, Harvey
Hmm.
Guillen, Josh Gad, Randall Park. Anyway, so I think Strays looks fun. There
Yeah,
you
for
go.
sure.
Lot of folks are fans of Katie, Gage, and Jane. Yeah, she's great. And Jane likes Tim Grierson too. We love seeing Tim Grierson.
Mm.
That's really good. And Brent says The Pope's Exorcist was my summer movie moment. I never saw that. Did you ever
M-
see that?
Missed it. I did see the documentary about the real dude that William Friedkin made, and I didn't think that was particularly good. But I'm sure this movie took wild liberties with that story.
That was a really bad movie. I agree.
Yeah.
I had to see that for radio, and I'm like, what are we even doing here?
Mm.
Tony asks, how is Jamie Foxx? Any updates? There's so much conflicting information out there because you're
Yeah.
seeing like people are praying for him, and then you're seeing that he and his daughter have a TV music competition coming out
Really?
soon.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
So
They've been very. It's all been very vague, so we don't have any insider scoop on that one.
yes, Lewis, one quick question. We should probably wrap up in a sec because
Mm.
it's been like an hour or so. Lewis says, you think Oppenheimer coming out in July will hurt its chances during award season? I tend to think that Nolan films, if they are going to get awards, are mostly technical ones anyway,
True.
right? Like editing
I mean,
or
we're
art direction.
yeah, we're coming off a year where the best picture winner came out in March, so anything is possible.
That's true. Last year was a really, really weird year.
Yeah,
Anyway, you guys are wonderful. And thank you for spending an hour of your time with us in the middle of the day
we appreciate it.
in May as Memorial Day is coming. If we didn't get to your question or your comment, or if we didn't answer it, I will check in the comments afterward and say hello and check in with you. And we love doing these. We'll probably do maybe another Ask Us Anything live next
Mm,
month. That could be fun.
sure, I'm in.
Yeah, and then just as we're going along through summer movies, just check back in, let us know what you've seen, what you loved, what you were psyched about, what maybe wasn't great, any of
Maybe
the
maybe we
above.
do a joint Barbie Oppenheimer spoiler chat.
Right. That's actually a really good idea. We
Hmm.
should do that. Okay,
Okay.
we'll do that. I'm going to be on vacation for
Ah,
like 2 weeks in the middle of July.
well, we'll give you plenty of time to see both movies, and then we'll
Yeah.
come back and
Let's do it. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Looney. Thank you, Sasheen. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Right Hand Man. We're happy to see you. Have a great rest of the day. And I am going to try to end this in a way that makes total sense technologically. I always mess it up. But thanks for being with us, guys. Take care.
bye.
Bye.